Hello, hello. Heather Jean here. Day 5, Spring Clean Challenge. It's day 5 already. I know we always say this, but I don't know where the time goes. It just flies, right? It just absolutely flies by. I'm rocking my spring colors today, all about the pinks and the yellows today, because it is spring here in the UK. Sort of. It's coming and going. But we're getting there. We're getting closer to having more consistent weather. I've got my coffee here. I've got my water here with a little bit of peach in it to keep me going. What does your garden need today? What do you need today? What do you need in order to nourish your body or in order to nourish your son? Yeah, I'm just checking. Great, great, great. Yep, just checking the live is feed. The feed is live. What does your body need? What does your mind need? I spent extra long time this morning taking some time around meditation, which I always do, and stretching, but I went a little bit further into gratitude practice this morning than I usually do. Really went into thinking about what does my body need and how does it support me. So both what I need as well as what will support me, or what is supporting me is what I should be saying. So for day 5, I mean, this is the point when we reap the benefits of what we've sown. And it is said in all of the ancient scriptures, passages, observances that, we reap what we sow. And it's rewritten in many, many forms, and it's a truism because it's true. So if you have cleared space and mulched up the dirt a little bit in your garden, figuratively or literally, if you have disturbed the dust in your home and cleaned it out and shaken things out, if you have cleared and prepared space for you to be able to have this crop, if you've planted ideal seeds, if you've incrementally, added some color into your vessel of water as we did on day 2, then at this point you have beautiful color. If you have nurtured those seeds, if you have supported those seeds, if you have done the weeding, pulling out the little weeds as soon as they arrive, and being able to try and learn where your triggers are, where your boundaries are, where your buttons are. People will always push your buttons, but those buttons exist because you allowed them or created them. And that's the beauty of being an adult. You get that choice. So, my body's telling me I need caffeine. So today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I wanted to talk about when stress arises, and I wanted to talk about the power of play. And those are the main things that I want to have a look at, always with the intention of pushing our boundaries a little bit, always with the intention of, taking little steps to extend and expand our comfort zone. So we're not staying in that wrapped up small space. You cannot show up with the confidence that you deserve, with the passion, with the energy, with the knowing that you're on the right path, if you are hiding yourself away. So feeling good, feeling expansive, owning your space unapologetically is absolutely key. And that is the work that I do, is helping women and femme identifying really be able to own their space, really be able to tap into that feminine energy, the intuition, the knowing, the passion, the creativity, and finding out what beliefs will support our unshakable confidence. And I always say confidence is one of these roller coaster things, but we don't go down as low and we don't stay down as long. When we have momentum, we come right back up the other side. And that is easier said than done. That is a work in progress. And that is in lots of ways my life's work. So let's have a look at your intentions. Go back and spend a moment reflecting on your intentions from the beginning of the week or whenever you joined us, but have a think about, what it is that you're trying to create. Intention is everything. It will, if your intentions are strong and clear and ideally positive, then your brain will look for ways to make that work, or information that will support that, or action that will support that. And getting clear is very key to staying aligned. And this is really much deeper work than goal setting. So I've spent over 25 years helping corporates with their managing their performance, and how to set goals, how to enable others to set goals, coaching and supporting those goals. But the intention has to be there, not just the goal, but the intention to act, the intention to allow, the intention to be aligned with your goals. And that is a huge piece of work for some of us, because there's a clearing out. There's some really deep roots there that need to be dug out. There's a for some of us, a need to clear those spaces, those beliefs, to change those beliefs, to affirm new beliefs, and really start to embrace and embody those new beliefs. And that is a big piece of work. So congratulations if you started on this journey, if you set your intentions and you're starting to take action towards following those. And I'm always here to support. That's what I do. So the Facebook community, we have a conversation and sharing going on. You're welcome, if you're watching this on YouTube, to comment, like, and subscribe below as well, please. But in the Facebook community, it's really a safe space. That's the intention behind it. Is a safe space for people to say, I'm struggling with this, or I'm enjoying this, or I'm celebrating this. And that's always so wonderful when people are celebrating. But sometimes that can be irritating if you're in a space where you're in one of those dips and you kind of lost your momentum. It can be difficult. Sometimes it can be inspiring when others are celebrating. It can be a way of going, wow, that's what I want. That's why I'm doing this. But for sometimes it can feel like, why aren't I getting these results? What is it for me that is making my crop take longer to grow or to flourish? And so, in those kind of times, then going back to intention will keep your motivation going. So motivation is just willingness to put energy into something. So there will be times when you have your intentions, you've done the work, you're doing the work, you're affirming the positive beliefs that support you, and then something will sabotage it. Maybe it's old beliefs coming up. Maybe it's other people pushing those buttons that you'd forgotten you had. Maybe it's you letting your boundaries down a little bit. But that test is an important part of it. So when you've got things going and your momentum is going up and up and up, and it's working really well, that's great. But there will always be the test, right? Or several tests. There will be the ones that sort of say, do you really want this? You're gonna have to keep going with it. You might not get the results that you want. If you're planting trees, the beautiful Anna MP has talked to me before about orchards, and and growing apple trees, and how a lot of those trees will grow, but they won't bear fruit for a while, like a significant amount of time. And it's bearing that in mind, that if your intentions are strong enough, if your beliefs and your affirmations are strong enough, then it'll keep you going. But there will always be those times when you'll question it, when you'll have that test coming up. And that's where your beliefs, your affirmations, your choices, your boundaries will be tested. And that can feel stressful. Actually, there's a whole masterclass on managing stress for wellness on confidencethroughcabaret.com, which you'll find below. Go check out confidencethroughcabaret.com, because there are a lot of masterclasses and new ones going up every single month. Last month was managing stress for wellness. This month, what month are we in? We're in April. April is all about assertiveness and asserting your power and asserting your rights and the rights of others, and how we behave assertively versus aggressive or submissive or passive, non-assertive, in other words. But that's stress. Coming back to stress. So what you're thinking or feeling in any moment is creating your reality. So if you're here in the morning and you're thinking about all the things you've got to do and how stressful it is and how worried, and that will create your reality. That will create your physiological state, as well as, of course, your mental state. And we've talked about this a lot. They're not separate. If your body is feeling stressed, if you're clenching, then it limits your mind to be thinking about those stressful things. If your mind is in that fight, flight, or freeze, then it will clench your body, and it's a vicious circle. And so stress is inevitable, but it's a real buzzword because some parts of stress, eustress, for example, is positive, right? It keeps us thriving. It keeps us, if you go on live, let's say on social media, for a lot of you, then it'll feel like, this is stress, but it's a thriving stress. Certainly right before you go on a real stage, there is a stress that we choose to see as excitement over fear. So stress is a bit of a buzzword. I'm so stressed, but it is actually a fearful reaction to the constant changes that happen in life. And if you blame stress for how you're feeling, then you're not taking full responsibility, if I'm really honest. And it doesn't change the situation. So, taking responsibility, really kind of like, I'm feeling that stress in my body or in my mind. I'm recognizing this and then diving a little bit into it and saying, what's causing this? Where's this coming from? Is it because of change? Is it because the test is coming? People are pushing your buttons and so on, or circumstances that maybe it's even the weather. Sometimes I sort of feel. When the weather is sunny and then rainy and sunny and it keeps changing back and forth. And in fact, we even had snow last week briefly, which is odd in the UK for March, April. But when we blame other things, then we're not taking full responsibility. So getting to the root of that, considering the things that are coming up is really important, and why they're coming up and where that's coming from. So and that's when you can start to change the situation, and you can start to have more influence, which will make you feel a lot more strength and a lot more powerful, because you're claiming your power back. So consider things that are most important in your life that maybe you take for granted, whether that's your breath, whether that's your health, whether that's the fact that you're going to have food, or you have food already. Taking those things for granted is a mistake. Without our breath, without food, without water, without shelter, we very well can die, right? So if not, we definitely will die. If you're talking about breath, so we have to have a certain amount of trust and faith and belief, but we also have to have some humility and some gratitude for those things. And so, just as you trust that your next breath is coming, just as you trust that your cells are rejuvenating and reproducing, we don't even think about those things, right? We don't even think about the fact that the sun is going to rise. We don't even think about, the fact that we have food available to us, most of us, the fact that we have health, that we have strength, whatever's happening in our body, even if it's ill health or disease, then we still have some strength and some breath in our body. Then trusting that, we don't even think about it. Well, it's the same when you plant the seeds. So knowing what your intention is, clearing your space, creating that garden, is why we did this, so that you have the right seeds planted, and then you nurture and nourish and trust that that is going to come. And that is where success starts to happen. But back to stress here. If you allow yourself to feel that, feel bad or feel stressed, then that is the reality that you will experience. So stress is a kind of it's when we're out of harmony. You can't have stress and harmony at the same time. They're I won't say opposites, but they're very different. So when you have that harmony, recognize it, appreciate it, sink into it, so that you can go back to that state, because it's a strong state. You can go back to that more often. Notice it, notice those times, even if at the most stressful times of my life, when I had to, my husband had just died, my children had just left home, I had to move home, I was in a car accident. I've had a few of those times when everything seemed stressful. And it's about recognizing those moments when the stress subsides, when harmony takes over. And sometimes it's for fleeting seconds, and that is tough. But recognizing and focusing on that harmony is really key. Recognizing that there is growth coming up, even if there are weeds coming up in your garden. And we talked yesterday about plucking out all those little weeds, before they grow strong roots. There's growth happening, right? Which means the seeds that you've planted are also doing what they're meant to do under the surface, perhaps. So don't give stress the power that we sometimes do. Don't give stress the power to control our body. You are the thinker in your mind. You're the only thinker in your mind, and you get to let go of fear and doubt. Maybe it's an affirmation, excuse me, and maybe it's if you want affirmations, I just redid my affirmations at the beginning of the week. I'm feeling so good because I'm able to choose the affirmations that are serving me. I work with those for 28 days, and then I go back to that pool, which is why I created a whole document on 50 of them. So if you want them, let me know, drop a comment below, and I'm more than happy to send them to you. I also don't make them into a PDF document so that I can change them, or other people can change them to really suit what works for them, to really be able to recognize and grow those moments of harmony. So letting go of fear and doubt, choosing serenity, knowing that you're capable to handle anything that comes your way in the moment, trusting yourself. Those are all amazing affirmations. So let's leave stress where it is. If you want to dive more into stress, send me a message, or go on confidencethroughcabaret.com, and you'll find the masterclass there around managing stress for wellness. So let's go on and continue this, reap and sow cycle. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of play. So part of the garden is enjoying the fruits of your labor, is having that space, whether that's, a beautiful windowsill garden, or whether that's a larger garden outside, that enjoying that garden, and really leaning into the benefits that you have created, and knowing that the fruits of your labor have appeared, is worth celebrating and playing in. So on Monday we talked about looking back over your past experiences and acknowledging how far you've come and what you've learned along the way. And I suggested you start from where you are now and go back 7-year increments, and notice what was going on in your past experience. And it may surprise you to look back and see all that you've achieved and the progress that you've made. We also talked about stretching your comfort zone, and it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to do anything crazy. Although I am going to suggest, the other day I said, try something new, right? Like, try something you haven't done for a while. But today I'm going to the homework is going to be to do something a little bit more terrifying, to really kind of push your comfort zone and show that you are safe. On Tuesday, we talked about, trying those new things to ignite creativity and gratitude. And on Wednesday, we talked about feeling good in your body and enjoying it, and really lavishing love and energy on the parts that you don't prefer, equal to the parts that you do prefer. On Thursday, we talked about your beliefs and about clearing space to create new beliefs. We also talked about forgiveness, and about securing your boundaries and being able to say no, which can be a bit tricky sometimes. Okay, so for today, then, we are talking about play and celebration, and with the culmination of all of those things that we've talked about. So releasing the beliefs that don't serve you, managing your stress, enjoying your space, supported by beliefs that support you. And sometimes the crop doesn't grow. I said the other day, I grew 2 pots of marigolds, and one pot just did nothing. It just kind of got like a moss on the top, and that kind of obviously killed off the seeds, or maybe the seeds never did flourish. But it sometimes it doesn't go how you wanted or expected, but you still get to celebrate, because I still created that space. I still put the soil in. I still nourished it. I still, and I got to enjoy one of the pots of marigolds, but not the other one. But sometimes we focus too much on the one that didn't come out, right? The one that didn't work. And we don't focus on what we do have and what we did do. Like the fact that I showed up and planted those, I am not a gardener. I don't enjoy gardening. So the fact that I actually did that for me to be able to enjoy is worth celebrating. Even if nothing came of it, I enjoyed creating that space for myself. Sometimes your crop might take a while, and then we think, oh, that's the end of that. But you have to trust the root system. The seeds aren't going, I wonder if I should. I wonder, will I be able to? Will I be able to flourish? Will I be able to grow? They're not doing that. They just do their thing, right? And that's the same for you. Same with your body. You get to do that, and sometimes that harvest takes a little while, but there is a season for everything. So celebrate your efforts, celebrate trying, celebrate stepping beyond your comfort zone, celebrate whatever you have done, and stop focusing on what you didn't have or what you didn't get or what didn't work out, or failure, the big F word. And we've talked about that lots of times in Confidence Through Cabaret. Learning to live with failure and fear is really key, because we think of those as bad words, right? But they're not negative words. It's how you reframe those. And that's a huge part of my neurolinguistic programming training coming through here. But reframing just means turning it on its head and looking at it in a different light, in a different way. So the power isn't about how fast you can grow, it's about the journey of growing. So how much play do you do in your day? Right? It's easier to feel that desire to play when we're in the sunshine and we're carefree, maybe we're on holiday, or in somebody else's garden where we don't have all the responsibilities. And that's why I've said to you all week, clear space, clear space, clear space. That's part of spring cleaning, so that you can feel that way in your own space. But when we're in a space where we're feeling good, maybe we're in a park or something, then play seems easier. But how much play do you build into your day? Right. It's one of the first things that I do. I stretch and meditate. I do my gratitude practice, and then I dive into something playful as quickly as I can, because it gets the creative juices going. You know, and it's about creating that balance. So yes, you do need to do the work. Yes, you do need to achieve results and drive through some of the sticky tests, but you also need to be able to play and enjoy the energy and the light force. So I guide others to sort of shed light on the areas where they need to celebrate, and where they need to not kind of go more into the victim modes and so on. And I guess really, my preference is about nourishing other people's gardens. And sometimes that overtakes, right? Like, so because I've been a coach for over 25 years now, and sometimes um, when we're too focused on other people's gardens, then we don't look after our own. It's like car mechanics. A lot of them don't have the most reliable cars, or certainly not have the work done that they would recommend other people do. Well, it's kind of the same with me. I like to play in other people's gardens, and sometimes I forget to nourish my own, and that's where play becomes so 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 important. Um, so what's going on for you? What's making your garden grow is play, is gratitude, is space, and is trust, so that being zealous, being creative, being playful, it's a beautiful feeling. So I'd invite you to put what you need out there, and just sit with curiosity. Right? Curiosity is a wonderful form of play. How does that work? Or as young children do, why? And it's a beautiful problem solving tool, among other things. But it's also it's about getting curious. Like, what would happen if? And in the positive way, rather than what's going to happen if. It's getting curious and enjoying that. Um, and there is a neurolinguistic or NLP exercise that I do sometimes, which is about creating an imaginary circle and putting all the great things in, all the great things that you have, all the great things that you want, all the great things that you deeply desire that you daren't even express, putting all the great things into that imaginary circle and then jumping into it. Whether that's lightness, whether that's creativity, whether that's results, whether that's health, whatever it is, putting all of the things into that imaginary circle and then jumping into it. Now, when I first did that, I couldn't imagine the imaginary circle because it wasn't there and I needed something tangible. So, a hula hoop works really well. Or, some sort of, if there's borders or there's a little space, then jumping into that. Children jump all the time. It's fabulous. They jump and they skip and they play. Um, but over time, I recognize that having to have an actual, like a, let's say a hula hoop, which is what I've used. I've got one over there, which what I used at the beginning. It was saying to me, I don't really trust this. Like, I don't really trust that there's this circle there. And so, if you can work towards having this imaginary space and then jump and celebrate and dance in that space, and all the things that you desire, all of the great things in your life, embracing those within this beautiful little space that is just yours. It's such a lovely exercise to do. And when you need to bring up your energy, that's a great thing to do. So, revving up are things like dancing, marching, skipping, jumping, playing, being grateful. But it can sometimes, when we're revved up, create an overwhelm. There's a chemical reaction in our sympathetic nervous system that can cause us to feel, too much cortisol, adrenaline, and it needs to work its way out, and that can very quickly flip to fear, worry, doubt, and so on, with triggers. And with work, you can find out what those triggers are and recognize them quite quickly. But really, we don't want to suppress that positive energy, that revved up. We just want to manage it so that we don't get overwhelmed, or we're not judging our feelings, or we're not, going back to that backstory of beliefs that don't support us. So those moments of joy, recognizing those, enjoying them, embracing them, but also having moments of calm, that can be part of play as well. So, you know, um, activating our nervous system so that we're in rest and digest and calm, things like reading, cup of tea, quieter music, walking softly. Candles are one of my go-to for that. Breathing and there are lots of different breaths that I use. One of them is about breathing in light and then releasing stress and anxiety down through my feet into the ground to let that take that support for me. One of them is about just a simple breathing in for 4, holding for 4, and exhaling for 4. But what that does is that, and actually, if you can exhale for 5 or 6, that's even better, because while the exhale is longer, then that creates, causes our nervous system to calm down. And if our exhale is shorter than our inhale, then it can be a pumping up. So, you know, quick breathing, you'll start to see that means that we're breathing more shallow usually, and we're not calming down. So that calming down is about breathing really deep into our stomach or into our genitals or hip area, and opening ourselves up, and then allowing that breath to come out slowly. So calming down is a part of play too. So I would invite you to share what it is that you're celebrating, what it is that you have done. Hazel, thank you so much. You have shared so many inspiring things and given me a lot of food for thought on this journey. Um, for me, the key thing was about pushing the comfort zone of the boundaries a little bit more, and going back to things that I hadn't done for a while. Wearing high heels, I feel beautiful and powerful and sexy and confident in heels. So going back to those instead of going, oh yeah, but your ankles aren't strong enough anymore, and oh, it's not so comfortable, my feet hurt. But focusing on the good things and how I enjoy those shoes has been a beautiful thing for me, because it's an analogy to where else can I find that strength and that beauty and celebrate it and have those jolts or moments of joy. So challenge homework. would be to share what it is that has come up for you. What are you working through? What have you realized or recognized? And post pictures of you in play. If you're going out to play either today or this weekend or whenever you're seeing this, then post pictures of you in play. I love blowing bubbles. I love balloons. I love, even just kind of dipping my feet in. What would happen if I just step a little bit further into the water where it's where the little waterfall's flowing and see what happens? And inevitably, I end up getting way more wet, and I'm always surprised, which is quite fun because I shouldn't be. So challenge homework. Then share your progress, what you're working on, and what you've realized and recognized this week, and post pictures of you in play. Optional homework would be to push your boundaries and do something that scares you. So even if it's, going live in here in the community, if you want to go live, I am always happy to hold hands and go live with you. I'm always happy to share your story or with you or your journey, or I'm always happy to let you go for it and go live and do the thing, or go live on your own page if you want to. But or tell people. Here's something else you could try for pushing yourself if it terrifies you. Tell people what you want to do. That can be really terrifying. Kind of, this is what I'm working on, or this is what I intend to do, and then what I want to have more of. Because when we're in flow, things are more pleasant, more happy, more aligned, and success flows from there. So knowledge without action is like not having knowledge at all. It's important that you put it into place. So do something that terrifies you if you possibly can. Share it with us if you want to. Always happy to hear about what other people are doing. And I'll be honest with you, that's where a huge amount of my inspiration comes from, is in that those moments of, I hadn't thought of that. I want to try that. What would happen if? So thank you for being part of this challenge throughout this week. I hope that you continue to clear your space. I hope that you continue to find more clarity, more enjoyment, more more of whatever it is that you desire. Now, if things have come up for you this week, if want to work more on it, or there are some blocks there that you've recognized and you're just not getting past that, then please do get in touch, because there is a certain amount of responsibility and integrity when somebody stirs up all this stuff with you, that they don't just kind of leave you hanging from the cliff. So if there's stuff that's come up, I am always happy to jump on a call or exchange messages and get into it a little bit deeper. So this is not my sales pitch, although I am very happy. I'm probably looking for taking on a couple of more coaching clients, but drop a DM below and we can certainly get into it. It's not just a sales pitch kind of a thing. It's important that if blocks have come up, that you have some support clearing them. If there's some beliefs have come up, that you have some support changing them. If you just need accountability to follow your passion, your journey, and your success, then I am your person, because some coaches are, only about the positive reinforcement. I'm about reality. I'm about, if you need to hear something, then let's get some accountability going here, because that's where your results come from ultimately. So, but I do genuinely mean this from my heart when I say that there is integrity in these kind of challenges. If things come up and it's feeling overwhelming, or it's feeling uncomfortable even, then I will jump on a call with you, or whatever serves you best, to help you through those moments. And that's real, that's genuine offer, that's not sales pitchy stuff. So do get in touch. In the meantime, if you're watching this on a Friday, have a wonderful weekend. Remember, self-care is not selfish. It is so important. Also, remember those 6 little letters, YB, YW, YS. We are on all the socials as Confidence Through Cabaret. You will find this this live video on the Confidence Through Cabaret YouTube under Spring Clean Challenge playlist. And you'll also find that's the same place you would go for the vodcasts every week, and the Coffee in the Community and Confidence with Coffee segments. There are tons of segments. There's a personal life, a work life, and the stage life segment. So wherever wherever you're getting your content, the only place we are not Confidence Through Cabaret is on Twitter. We are at YBYWYS, and Clubhouse I'm at Heather YBYWYS. So get in touch with me there. Hit me up there. I'd love that. Those 6 letters stand for it is your body, and it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space and own it and enjoy it and love it unapologetically, just as you deserve. Thank you very much for being here. Bye for now.